Thank you very much for the introduction. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm Fabio Scorza and I work for CONAI as an International Affairs Officer. Today what we are going to introduce is just about how the APR system works in Italy and how are the key tools that we have to help out our firms to be compliant with the APR schemes in Italy. So what I'm going to do, why is it not working? Maybe? No? Okay, the slides are not working, but I can talk about it. I wanted to show some few issues, a few numbers about CONAI system, the APR scheme in Italy. Actually, we are an umbrella organization that deal and oversees the work of 7 different consortium in Italy, one each for each material, actually. And we are a non-profit organization owned by the industries, and we are as it called an all-in APR schemes, since we deal with commercial industrial packaging and domestic packaging, and of course single and reuse packaging. The second one is not working again. I wanted to show you some data, but it's not working. So I will go directly to the key tools that CONAI put on the floor to help us, our members and our companies, to help us out to have a better impact on the environment. We have different tools. For example, we have an email dedicated for our members to ask us some especially important question, a specific question on, for example, labeling, or how to make out the packaging and make it more sustainable. We have draft some designing for recycling guidelines, one for each material, that they can read out and have the LCA system and approach to follow in order to do a better and have a better impact on their packaging. We have a CONAI Eco D tool that it's called like this because it help the companies with another LCA assessment to check if they can actually reduce in the use of water, energy, and the CO2 emission for their packaging. We have also a tender every year that we destinate almost 500,000 euros to the best packaging solution in the market. And also we have another important tool that we have launched last year that is Differenti. Actually, you can go through it. It's an open source. You can check for each region, each municipalities, the level of recycling that we have achieved, all the infrastructures and the good point that we have established in those countries. I guess that's it. I don't know who is the second. And now it's working. Okay, it's a bit too late, but still, this is what I was talking about before. So CONAI is oversees the 7 packaging material. We have also, yeah, those are the datas. We reach, actually, this is a good point because I wanted to point it out that actually last year we reached the 75.3% of effective recycling rate of packaging in the country, because we are the ones supposed to give the data to the ministry and to reach the target for at the state level. And out of 40 million tons, we were able, through the work of the CONAI consortium system, to effectively recycle 10.4 million of tons. If you include also the energy recovery, we reached the 11.8 million tons. Just a few words. If you, I just put some QR codes if you want to download our main report. One is the Sustainability Report 2023. that has been released last year, and we are going to release the 2024 in the next few weeks. And on the other side, you can take also the one of the main papers that has extra, the Extended Producer Responsibility Alliance, in which Konai is one of the founder. This is a very good lecture to know how to make the best out of the APR system, and how the important characteristic for APR to be developed. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Emmanuel Bautista. I am in charge of European and International Affairs at CTO. So CTO is a French counterpart of Konai. So we are the French producer responsibility organization in charge of the implementation of EPR in France for household packaging and graphic paper. So what you put in your yellow bin in France. We are a private company with a general interest mission. We have about 80,000 clients in France. So we are operating only on the French market. And the household packaging funding the EPR scheme in France represents more than 5 million thousand of tons, namely with in particular paper, cardboard and glass, and this means more than 100 billions of sales units. Regarding key data, so we have achieved a recycling rate for household packaging of 67%, but we have still a lot to achieve regarding the targets according to the national and European legislation, and mostly on plastics and aluminium. So here on this slide, an overview on the different regulatory targets we have to achieve. So again, according to the French and European legislation. So we have targets on reduction, reuse and recycling. So on reduction, it's a target of 50% reduction target for household packaging waste by 2030. On reuse, it's 10% of reused packaging on the market by 2027. And regarding recycling, so we have this overall objective of 70% of recycling by 2030, and then different rates according to the different type of packaging. So we have still a lot to achieve, and in a short time, so 2025 and 2030. And for this, so we have developed at CTO so different tools to support and to accompany our members, and tools again on this 3R strategy: reduction, reuse and recycling. So you can see regarding reduction, we have developed different tools to support our clients, supporting them by the eco-design diagnosis, the packaging reduction, prioritization of packaging, and also the recyclability calculation with different LCA analysis possibilities. Then on reuse, this is an important pillar of our activity since a few months, and it will increase by next year. So according to the French law, PRO have to dedicate yearly 5% of their turnover to finance reuse projects. So this is with what we have done last year with 40 million euro financing around 140 projects in France at national and local level. We will continue this year with a budget in total of 100 million euro. And we will also make an important step by next year, by next spring, with the development of reuse at scale. To begin with, in 4 French regions, so in Hauts-de-France, Bretagne, Normandy, Pays de la Loire. So why this region? Because because they have achieved good results regarding collection and sorting, and we have already financed several projects in this region, so we think it's a good basis to begin a pilot phase to develop reuse at scale. And we have an objective of 30 million units standardized reusable glass packaging on the French market, and to reach 16 million consumers during this phase, this 1 year phase beginning, so next May in this 4 region. And to finish, regarding recycling, so we have this ambitious targets towards 100% recyclable packaging by 2025. So we have different pillars to achieve and to support these targets. So first of all is to use eco-modulation. So we received, as our other European counterparts, a contribution from our members, and then to incentivize them to reduce their packaging, to integrate recycled content, to take measures to inform or to aware consumer. We use more eco-modulation with bonuses and penalties, which of course evolve each year to take into account the different situation and also the objectives we have to achieve. We support also the evolvement and of the existing recycling stream through R&D, so are different things, so to improve recycling efficiency, to have a better adaptation and anticipation, to develop new technologies and new local recovery solution. We also support the development of new recycling stream. So for example, in France, we have an issue with the recycling of the PS pot, so the yogurt pot, because we are consuming a lot, and so this is a huge task for us to support the development of this new recycling stream, and this is why we have invested since last year in 3 what we call oversorting centers to have dedicating sorting stream for this type of material, and to be able at the next step to develop a recycling stream here in France. So that was it in a nutshell. So thank you very much. And now, Thomas, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Good afternoon, everybody. Delighted to be here together with my French and Italian colleagues. My name is Thomas de Meester. I'm the Public and Regulatory Affairs Manager at FOST+. So, a few words about FOST+. FOST+ is the producer responsibility organization for household packaging in Belgium. We're currently the only PRO for household packaging. And we were founded in 1994 by the obliged industry and for the obliged industry as a non-profit organization. Currently, FOST+ serves 11.7 million inhabitants, so the total population of Belgium, and we count around 4,900 members, so almost the totality of the Belgian market. In 2023, 735 kilotons of single-use household packaging was declared by our members to the FOST+ system, as well as already 572 kilotons of reusable household packaging, mostly being glass beverage packaging. In total, we had a budget of around 298 million euros, and we were able to achieve a recycling rate of 97% of the household packaging that was put on the market by our members in 2023. So this slide basically shows that the Belgian recycling objectives are more ambitious than the European goals. And this was also a driver for much of the innovation that we've implemented over the last couple of years. So it's not mentioned on the slide anymore, but last year we had to achieve a plastics recycling rate, plastics put on the market by our members. There's a difference with the total market, so we're not making a distinction for free riders and parallel imports, but a recycling rate of 65% by 2023, which we managed to achieve. And the target for 2030 at Belgian level is even more ambitious, a lot more ambitious than what the EU is proposing, namely 70% of plastic household packaging recycling, while the EU only asks for 55%. What's also new is that for the first time in the history of FOST+, through our accreditation agreement, which is basically our license to operate for a period of 5 years, we have been imposed for the first time reuse targets as well as reduction targets. So by the end of our accreditation period, by the beginning of 2029, we have the aspirational goal of achieving 5% reduction in single-use packaging put on the market and an increase of the share of reusable packaging by 5%. So we have been driven by these very ambitious legal targets to do something more, to innovate, to increase that plastics recycling rate. And basically in 2018, at the Belgian level, we made a collective decision with all of the actors involved to extend the sorting message to all plastic packaging. So previously, not like France where you have the yellow bin, but in Belgium we have the blue bag, and the blue bag is for PMD waste, plastic packaging, metal packaging and drinks cartons. Before 2018, we were only collecting plastic flasks and bottles in this blue bag, but we extended the sorting message to all plastic packaging across the whole country. So obviously the system is also based on comfort for the citizen. The blue bag is being door-to-door collected, thus participation is quite easy. By extending this sorting message, we collected 9 kilograms more, so we went from 15 kilograms of collected BMD per inhabitant through the blue bag per year to more than 24 kilograms. And this blue bag is composed of 16 different material streams that are sorted out at our sorting centers. So it's much more, this whole operation, than just an extension of the sorting message. When we made this decision, we were collecting new materials, but we also needed to invest in state-of-the-art sorting centers in order to be able to sort these new streams out. So we attracted private investments to our market in Belgium to sort all of these different streams out according to the same principles, because the packaging mix of the blue bag is the same across the whole country because of the uniform sorting message. And we did that, we attracted the private investments by offering 9-year term contracts. Then we saw, okay, we have these 16 different material streams all efficiently sorted out through our sorting centers, but for some streams it also made sense to invest in local recycling capacity. For example, for the flexible packaging stream, as well as for the PET bottle stream, where we now have, again, through 9-year contracts, attracted private investments in a dedicated bottle-to-bottle recycling plant, as well as a PET tray-to-tray recycling plant, as well as 2 different recycling plants for the flexible stream. And all of this together, basically this simple effort of extending the sorting message has really positioned Belgium right now as a European recycling hub. And we've managed to achieve in 2023, surpassing the 65% target that was put on us by the legislator, we managed to achieve a 68% recycling rate according to the new EU calculation method. And we're on our way towards the 70% to be achieved in, it says 2023, but it should be 2030. Also another side note, already in 2023, 78% of all household packaging, so not only plastics, was recycled in Belgium, and the rest in the EU, most of it in our neighboring countries, France and Germany. And last but not least, the Belgian industry and FOST+ have made a voluntary pledge to make all of the packaging put on our market recyclable by 2025. So when we first made that pledge back in 2018, we identified that around 20 kilotons, or around 2% of household packaging put on our market, was still non-recyclable. Currently, the situation as of June 2024 is still plus minus 5 kilotons of non-recyclable packaging. So we've really managed to decrease the share of non-recyclable packaging on our market. And how did we do that? Yeah, through working very closely with our members, offering dialogue, expertise, and testing based on the current sorting and recycling scenarios in Belgium. And for the larger companies, our larger members, we offer tailor-made individual support. For our smaller members, we offer collective support at category level. Second pillar is integration into optimized sorting and recycling scenarios. So we're also looking to constantly improve the operations of our blue bag and of our sorting centers. For example, we've just recently, or in 2021 already, started collecting small aluminium, so coffee capsules, for example, through our blue bag, efficiently sorting them out in the sorting centers, thus integrating them in our current scenario. And then thirdly, we are developing a dedicated action plan for the remaining non-recyclable packaging types to get to that 100% recyclability in 2025. And then as you can see in the last column, this all precludes the PPWR, the Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation, which requires that all packaging on the European market is recyclable by 2030. So we're already moving ahead to achieve that target. That was my last slide, so I think maybe we can open up the discussion now by asking this question. Dear colleagues, what do you think are currently the challenges faced by EPR schemes at national and EU policy levels? Who wants to go first?
C'est des questions pour eux.
Okay, so I will go first, and yes, interesting question. So I think one of the main challenge for us, for EPR scheme and PROs, it's the question now of implementation of all legislation, regulation, directive, which have been negotiating and during the last European mandate. First of all, the famous PPWR, so Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation. So we have a lot of legislation on the table, so now it's time for the implementation. So to take time for it, and also to ensure that the Commission is taking into account the perspective and the proposal of the industry and private sector for the implementation, and in particular for the secondary legislation. We know with PPWR we will have a lot of delegated and implementing acts. So they will go into detail, so they will be very important. So we know the devil is in the details. And so we will have to remain cautious regarding this process. And we know this process will take a long time, among several years. And so it's very important to be active on this part. So after the entry into force and then the application only 18 months later of the legislation, it's only a new phase, a new step, which will begin for us and for all the industry. It's also a question, I think, of consistency between national and European legislation. So we have this issue in France with Loi AGEC and PPWR. We are still facing some questions. So we are still needing some explanation and some replies from our national authorities. So it will be also important for us. And next, last thing I will like to mention. It's another perspective, but not only focusing on legislation. It's also the question on how we put circular economy in line with competitiveness, strategic autonomy, industrial policy. So we have it in the Letas and Draghi's report, calling for a more European circular economy, calling also for an internal market for secondary raw materials, for recycling. So it's good, it's important, it's relevant. So, but now let's put it in action. Let's go concrete with some proposals. So we will also wait for the incoming Circular Economy Act and Clean Industrial Act, which have been already announced for the 100 first days of the Commission. And I think so for us and for the whole industry, it will be also very important to have a look on this more broad European policies.
I'll be very brief. I completely agree with my colleague Manuel about the EU legislation. Actually, we are focusing on it, on the implementation of PPWR especially. So even in this sense, in Italy, we are trying to help out our members in order to start to create a kind of guidelines or even about the MECUM to try to help them out to be compliant with the next EU legislation, because as we already know, the door are closed for any change at the moment, so we are just expecting the PPWR to be implemented and to be voted and implemented after that. We have some points that we have pointed out during the discussions that are concerns for our members and for the PR scheme. So we are the good point, as she said, is probably working on the secondary legislation, on the implementing act and delegated act would be the good way to follow in order to mobilize a bit the legislation. At the national level, one of the things that are important for us are at the moment the discussion between the APR schemes in Italy and the local authorities, because since we have a national framework agreement that are between the APR schemes, so all of us, not just Econai and Consortium, but also the autonomous system that went into place with the municipalities, the Association for Municipalities. This is a very key point in order to establish the level of quality and quantity that the municipalities has to reach at municipal level. And another point that I wanted to point it out, actually, it's the infrastructures that we are working on, especially in the south of Italy, that we have still some problems, but we are trying to bring even our government to focus on those problems and to implement the separate collection, especially in those places where it's not that easy to do it.
Thank you, Fabio. Well, I could not agree more with what my colleagues have already said. At the European level, the PPWR is coming. Implementation will be key, but also awareness raising. I'm quite sure that even among our members, not everybody is aware yet of the almost systemic change that the PPWR is bringing. And if I could single out one point that's very important at the Belgian level, but I think will also be shared by a lot of my colleagues, is the issue of recycle at scale. So basically, the packaging and packaging waste regulation is requiring that all packaging should be recyclable at scale by 2035. And what does that mean, recyclable at scale? Basically means that per material category, you need to achieve a recycling rate through separate collection and sorting, of course, of 55% by material category across the whole EU in order to be classified as recyclable at scale. So why is this an issue for Belgium? Because as I've already explained during my presentation, we have invested or attracted a lot of investments in state-of-the-art recycling capacity, but we do not see in all of the EU member states the same level of innovation, the same level of investment drive. So we have made those investments at Belgian level, but a risk could be that other member states do not follow suit, do not have the sufficient recycling capacity installed in their countries, and thus that packaging that we already currently in Belgium are efficiently recycling would be deemed as non-recyclable at scale and thus banned from the market. So this regulation really has an impact on the operations that have been done so far in Belgium. Maybe a more... So we're talking about challenges, But I also see, especially at the national level, a couple of opportunities. So I already discussed during the presentation that for the first time we have reuse and prevention targets, which opens up, I think, for PROs and EPR systems a more broader societal role than is already currently the case. We've been very much focused on recycling, but these new legislative requirements, also spurred on by the PPWR, offer us an opportunity to do more in that regard as well and take up an important societal role. And I've been signed that it's almost over, so I'd like to end the discussion here. Thank you very much, dear colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.